Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Arnold, and today I'm going to be channeling Ascended Master Saint Germain and the Ascended Masters for some tips and some assistance on navigating the mental body's consciousness as we awaken. So these are spiritual ascension symptoms that happen in our head, and there's a lot of confusion. Some people think they're having a psychosis. Some people believe that they're going crazy, as some people have mentioned. They think they're going crazy as the ego consciousness is disassembling or getting shattered. And so we'll have them explain like what's happening with the ego and how to navigate some of these symptoms and why they're happening. And we'll see what else they have to say. They're bringing in through a lot of frequencies for like anxiousness and the mental body's consciousness, like in the crown chakra. There's like a lot of anxiety as these old past lifetimes, the symptoms come up. It's creating anxiety in a lot of people. So they're going to be bringing through frequencies today for transmutation, to change anxiety back to love. If you're open to receiving, all you have to do is say you're open to receiving and you'll receive through the video. So before I begin, I just want to mention to anybody that's new to this channel that I do personal readings. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I will leave the information in the description below. Thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll see you at the end. Oh yes, welcome. I'm Saint Germain. We welcome you. There are many finding it difficult to navigate through the fog or through the mental body's ascension symptoms. We would say that as one is awakening, what is happening is the spiritual body is becoming louder than the egoic body's consciousness. The egoic body's consciousness is part of the mental body's consciousness. This would be that it is running the show as it is a third dimension game. As one is awakening, the spiritual body's consciousness, the vibrational frequency of the spiritual body's consciousness becomes greater than the egoic body's consciousness, and it would be that the spiritual body's consciousness would bring to your awareness that there is a separation. And those who are deep in the egoic consciousness do not yet realize that there is a separation from the ego and the spiritual body's consciousness. They believe that it is one unit. As you are awakening, you are realizing that this is a separate entity, and it is that which is causing the awakening. My spiritual body's consciousness now wants to run the show. It was my mental body's consciousness in the egoic consciousness that was running the show, and it was playing a third dimension game, and now my spiritual body wishes to run the show. It begins as a separation and observing of thoughts. It is that the ego is not dying. It is not going anywhere. It is going to become quieter as one expands one's consciousness from the spiritual body. They will let go of the grip of the ego. They will let go of the attachments of the ego, and the ego will lose its grip. And we would say that it is simply a separation or an illusion of a separation, as everything is one energy. It is illusion of separation, and the spiritual body's consciousness will begin to observe the ego thoughts, but not attached to them. This is the awakening. This is the shattering of the ego. The ego is not going to die physically and leave. The ego is will always be there. It is that you lose the attachment to it. You lose the attachment to allowing it to run the show, and you begin to live from your heart instead of your head. This is simply an observation. You begin to awaken, and your spiritual body gets louder. It begins to see the egoic lies and the egoic manipulations, and it decides that it no longer wants to play that game. It is a simple It is simple, really. Many of you are making it more difficult, and we would say go back to the basics. What is it that is happening? Could it be more simple than I realize? Could it be that I am simply observing my mental body's consciousness as I begin to awaken? I am observing the ego consciousness, and I am watching my thoughts. That is all that is required, is to watch one's thoughts. When one is beginning to realize that they are watching their thoughts, or they are able to watch their thoughts, they are well on their way into their spiritual awakening, as this is that they are realizing the separation. I can now create a life I desire and not attach to the ego and lead me down a tricky road, or lead me down a road that is going to bring me to more fear. The egoic consciousness game is to keep us living in fear. It is to keep us chasing and never be satisfied. And the spiritual body's consciousness is, we would say, what one would be in the now moment. One would be in the now moment and be present and be able to connect to the consciousness within everything. This is a feeling of peace. This is a feeling of divine love. The egoic consciousness would take you to the past or the future. That is how you know if you are functioning from the spiritual body, or if you're functioning from the egoic consciousness. If you are having thoughts of the past and or thoughts of the future, you are not living in the now moment. You are allowing the egoic consciousness to run the show, and you are ignoring the spiritual body's consciousness in the now moment. We would say to get into the now moment. If one is feeling forgetful, then one would be in the now moment. If I'm in the now moment, there are no memories. If I am in the now moment, there is no attachment to the memories. If I am in the now moment, there is no attachment to the past or the future. Then it would appear that I am forgetful. But what we would say is that as you are in the now moment, you can retrieve your memories if needed in your life situation. If someone asked you, if you were in the now moment and someone asked you a question, if they ask you any question, you would not know the answer unless you retrieved it. This is where people are having some confusion to, I am forgetful, I'm being forgetful, I'm not paying attention. It is that, not that you are being forgetful, it is that you are becoming more present in the now moment, and you must pull in the answer. We would not use the terminology pull. We would say allow it to drop into the head. If someone approached Tara and asked her if she had children, she would have to pause for a moment and pull the answer in, as she is in the now moment. If she is in the now moment, she does not know anything else. She would have to pull in the answer. There is, or drop, allow the answer to drop in, we would say. Our channel uses the term pull, but we would say it is a dropping. Tara would pause and allow the answer to flow in. She does not stumble, as she knows that it is not herself being forgetful. What is happening with many is that they begin to pause, and the ego consciousness tells them that they are stupid, or that they are forgetting something and they are not doing something correctly. We would say to observe that and simply pause and allow the answer to drop in. There are many of you that have come to this now moment and are more present, and it is that you will retrieve any information that you require in the now moment. This is not that you have lost your mind or lost your memories or are very forgetful. There are many that are still chasing, I need to remember, I need to remember, I need to remember. But remembering is a memory, and a memory is in the ego consciousness. You are in the now moment, where it is you are in the now moment where the past or future does not exist. How could a memory be there? Allow it to drop in, and don't judge this as something wrong or that you did something bad. We would say, as you are expanding your consciousness, and many of you are stepping into your power from your heart, you have begun to stop pleasing others and feeding their egos. You are beginning to love the God within you, and you are putting your inner children first. And there are many that are confused by this. They are saying, you were in a third dimension game with me, and now you're not playing the game the way we used to. And they will begin to question this. They will ask maybe if you are okay. Are you feeling okay? They will say, because they are confused of why you're not pleasing them anymore. They are confused why you are not serving them. They are confused of why you are putting yourself first before them. And this is causing their egoic consciousness to react. Some get angry, some get upset, and some would choose to make one inferior in order to get their power back, in order for you to serve them again. So they would make comments as we're showing our channel. Some of you have had comments, or our channel has had these comments. Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? Is there something wrong? Are you sick? Are you, do you have ADHD? Are you going crazy? Do you think there's something mentally wrong with you? You should see a doctor. Do you think you have a psychosis? We should check you into the hospital. There's something not right here. What is going on? There's something wrong with you. There are many who have heard these comments, and we would say to simply observe them without judgment. It is not good, bad, right, or wrong that someone is attacking me at this moment. It is that they are confused, and they are not understanding why something has changed. We would say to stay present and do not attach to their and do not attach or react to their responses. Is there something wrong with me? Am I going crazy? We would say to instead maintain your presence within yourself, pull your consciousness in and expand it out, and this is all that's required for those around you to begin to awaken themselves. They can begin to download the light that you are, the frequencies that you offer, or they can decide to go play somewhere else. They will go get their ego fed somewhere else if they are not being satisfied that you are not pleasing them anymore. We would say that there are many that they are noticing they're losing friends, that if some friends won't talk to them anymore. And we would say to celebrate when this happens, as it means that your vibrational frequency has expanded past those who you were a vibrational match with. This is meaning that you are awakening, and those around you are not awakening. And how could they be in your game if they are not a vibrational match? This is a celebration. We would say celebrate as the friends leave, because the universe will bring in new friends with more expanded love to match your new expanded frequency. This is a delightful game and a delightful play. How could you expand and move forward if you are stuck in the past and are clinging and attached to the same friends? We would say that there are many family members that will not agree with your new way or your new being, and being okay with this. We would not use the terminology okay. We would say not to judge this. It is that there is no judgment on how people react to you. It is none of your business how people react to you. It is not your business if you are loving you instead of feeding someone's ego. It is not your business how they react. We would use that terminology. We will allow it for now. It is not personal, we would say. It is not personal the way people are reacting. There are some that are upset, saying, you're being cold, you're being mean, you're not being nice to me. When you are beginning to love yourself, you are still having compassion. We would say that it is compassion for yourself. It is that you have been in this game of third dimension where you are serving everyone outside of yourself, but the way to connect all of the universe is to go in and connect the consciousness within you back to the universe. How could you be one energy if you are ignoring your own needs, if you never give compassion to yourself and you never love yourself, you never seek the divine within you? How could you be one energy with the universe if the universe is divine love and you are not giving that to yourself? Then you will see that there's a separation in the universe. The universe adores you. The universe is wanting you back. It is wanting you to connect your consciousness and make it whole again. It feels like there is a piece of the pie missing. It feels like there is a space missing if you are not finding that compassion for yourself, if you're not finding that divine love within yourself, if you're not connecting with the inner child and healing those parts of you that allowed others to take your power. And we would say that it is not them taking your power, it is you giving it. No one can take your power without your permission. It is a letting go of the old way and inviting in the new way. It is not staying in the same chapter of the book, but it is beginning a new chapter so that you can end the book and start a new book. This is the game of the third dimension moving into fifth dimension. This is the game of truth. And we would say, what if it was a board game? Would you want to win the game, or would you lag behind and stay on the first level? If you visualize your video games, do you go backwards or do you move forward through the video game? Are you always moving backwards to the last level you played, or are you going to move forward and begin a new level? Are you striving for a higher achievement and a higher goal? And we would say this is similar to the game that you are playing on planet Earth. And your third dimension costumes, you are wearing your body and you are having human experience and you are having a fun time playing this game. We would say that your spiritual body's consciousness enjoys the game. The ego body's consciousness would tell you that it's not a fun game. As the ego consciousness becomes dismantled, we would say it does not go anywhere. It is simply separation. You will begin to see the separation between yourself and the ego. If you're already seeing the separation, which all of you that are watching this are seeing the separation, or you would not be watching this channel right now, we would say that is all that is required. You're seeing a separation from the ego consciousness to the spiritual body. You're beginning to see the truth from your heart and the lies of the ego, or the manipulations from the ego, the illusions of the ego. It is not to be judged as you observe it. It is simply an observation. If you stand in the now moment and observe your thoughts as they float by and not attached to them, this is all that is required. It is that many of you at times feel confused as the egoic consciousness is dismantling. And we would say it is a letting go of not only this lifetime, but many lifetimes. Many of you are feeling so much anxiety, and we would say that as the past lifetime frequencies of fear-based energies arise to the surface, this is the lifetime that you are realizing that you have the power within you to transmute these frequencies, fear-based emotions back to love. In the other lifetimes, you believe that God was something outside of you. You believe the universe was something separate from you, and you do not have the power to change these frequencies from fear back to love. In this lifetime, you are realizing you have this ability, and that is why many past lifetime emotions are coming to the surface. There is nothing that you can do to stop this. It is an allowing of it. And when you are in resistance, what is happening is you are feeling the physical body's consciousness response to the emotions coming up. The mental body's consciousness, or the egoic conscious, the ego within the mental body's consciousness is telling you to judge these emotions as bad. It is telling you to be scared of these emotions. This is what is causing the resistance. This is what is causing the fear. This is what is causing the anxiety and the pain. If my egoic consciousness is judging the emotions as they come up, my physical body will react. Why is this happening? Because you are planting the belief into your physical body's consciousness that this is something to fear, because you are believing the ego consciousness when it tells you to fear these emotions that are rising to the surface. You have asked to awaken. All of you have asked to awaken, or you would not be awakening. You have asked the spiritual body to awaken. You have asked for these emotions to come to the surface. Do not fear them anymore. Simply observe them. Could I be present with the pain that I am feeling? Could I be present with the anxiety? What if I was standing outside of myself, observing the anxiety? Would it have a grip on me? Would I allow it to ruin my day? What if I simply laid and allowed it to arise? What if I asked it what it needed? What if I looked at it with the eyes of love? What if I surrounded it with the God, with consciousness within me, or the Christ consciousness within me? What if I surrounded the anxiety with that? How would that feel? What if I pictured the anxiety as a child and I picked it up and loved it? Would it dissipate? Would it let go? Would I stop reacting? Would I stop fearing it? And would I stop allowing it to run the show? Could I have a more calm life? Could I be more present? Could I become more whole? Could I be happy and more joyful? And we would say, yes, allow these frequencies to come up. And when one is feeling confused, or if they are feeling as if they're in a psychosis from the ego consciousness dismantling, we would recommend to go to a doctor, because when you go to a doctor and it's a spiritual ascension symptom, when you go into the doctor's office, all of your symptoms will go away. Your spiritual body will pull back. Your spirit guides will make you observe. We would not use terminology make. We would say your spiritual body's consciousness and your spirit guides will calm you. It will pull all your symptoms back, so that you know that you are safe, and you know that you are only having spiritual ascension symptoms. When you leave the doctor's office, they will come back as the Kundalini energy is doing its work. And we would say to let go of the fear. If you seek a doctor, then and your symptoms go away, then you will know that you are safe. It is only an ascension symptom. I am safe. I am safe. I will go in, and when I'm in there, if all my symptoms go away during my visit, then I know it is an ascension symptom. This is how your spiritual guides are assisting you at this time. It is happening rapidly as Mother Earth's energy has sped up, and all of you have sped up in your frequencies. All of you are unfolding faster than you ever have. And so the rapidness of the egoic consciousness crumbling is causing much scared feelings, much frightening. There's something wrong with me. I'm going crazy. And we would say it is not that at all. You are all safe. You are all well. We would say do not buy into the third dimension fear. Simply be present in the now moment and trust and have faith. And having faith is trusting in the absence of evidence. And many of you have asked to have this journey based on faith, as it makes it more exciting. It makes it more exciting as part of the game. If you are not knowing what is happening, isn't this a fun game if I don't know what's around the corner? Isn't it a fun game if I do not know what's going on and I have to trust and have faith? Doesn't it make make the game more exciting. And we would say that as you're playing the character in your game, it is the excitement from the spiritual body when one does not know and one is having more fun exploring frequencies. You are all here to explore and transmute frequencies. We are excited for your journey. Blessings. We are here with you all. You do not need tarot to connect with us. Call us in. We are here.